Hi, this is Saucy J again, back with another Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 13 Reunion Part 3 review. I'm back at it, you guys. Like I said, hang in, hold tight. I'm bringing you Part 3 tonight. Okay, so we start off once again with the Kenya bashing. It really seems like Bravo or Bravo Andy or Silver Bullet or SB, and as well as Portia and her crew, nobody likes Kenya. And so it's just once again bashing Kenya for something we all would have done had we been on a girls' trip and people got crazy. Or like, say for instance, on your job, when you go to the Christmas party and someone gets a little too drunk and gets too comfortable around their coworkers. The next day at the water cooler or in the little kitchenette area, everybody's going to be talking about it. Like, girl, did you see so-and-so? So that's what happens. So now Andy's calling Kenya the Bolo detective. And what I've come to find out, it was a lot of things going on. Of course, as usual, per usual, Portia is lying, and she's trying to go on the warpath against Kenya because of what she did that night at the bachelorette party. And like they said, Tanya told on herself by saying she was in the room with Portia all night. Kenya hadn't named anyone. The only person that after Portia said, "Are you talking about me?" Then she said, "Portia, was it you?" So, the women pretty much told on themselves. And I don't really get this. Why is everybody so mad at Kenya for doing something that we all would have done? This is something, if you go on a trip with a whole bunch of girls, even guys, you're going to be like, man, so-and-so was crazy. So as it turns out, they were all telling on each other. Tanya went into Cynthia's room and tried to give Cynthia her take on what happened that night. Drew, and according to Cynthia, Drew came in the room first and was telling her everything that happened in the room with Bolo, except for what Drew did. So, it's just, once again, Portia lies and deflects and blames everything on Kenya. So Andy starts once again with his questions that are just attacks against Kenya. And I know that I have a feeling that these questions are questions that he comes up with his staff, and it's all aimed at making Kenya look bad and Portia look good. Because it's obvious that Portia is Bravo Andy's darling. She has replaced Nene. So they want black women to act like Portia and Nene, loud, ignorant, and in Portia's case, she's playing the sexy siren role, but she really didn't want to play that. She really wanted to be true that the cameras were all taken down, and including the audio. So this is the problem that I have with Kenya, because it's like, okay, yeah, they all agreed that they told the staff, the crew, that they wanted the cameras to be down and they were going to really party. Well, they didn't ask for the audio to be taken down. So even if the cameras couldn't have, if they were able to cover up all the cameras, the audio was still going. The crew still set them up, but they want to blame Kenya. So Andy questions are so skewed against Kenya, and he claims that Nathan asked Kenya, why was she so invested? Why was she, in the words of Cynthia, so pressed? And like Kenya said, first of all, they were at work. They were living in a cast house filming a reality TV show. That was real life, where things went crazy. People were drunk and fully enamored of Mr. Bolo. And what nobody brought up is that supposedly Portia follows Bolo on Instagram. So she knew. Portia's the type of person, I think she knew what she was going to do that night with Bolo, and she made it happen. And she thought she was safe because all the cameras were down, so they thought, and it was, nobody thought to think, oh, were the mics cut off? Was the audio cut off? And it wasn't. So Kenya says she stands firm in her position that they were at work. She did her job by, letting it out that Portia screwed the stripper. I mean, it is what it is. I used to watch Jersey Shore. A lot of stuff what they did, they bust each other out on. This is normal. Nothing Kenya did was wrong. It's just that Portia didn't want the world to know, because Portia is at a crossroads in her life in terms of, she's trying to be this activist. She's trying to take on this Mother Teresa role, and she's far from it. And she didn't want to let that out. She didn't want to let out that she's a hoe. And really, I don't even think she's a hoe. I think she just does anything in the moment, and that's fine. And most of all, I think she does anything to get to the bag, because that's what she's all about, getting to the money. She wanted to make sure that she had a baby by a rich guy. She tried a couple of football athletes. That didn't work out. When she figured out how she could just pretty much walk over Dennis to get what she want, meaning a baby, and in which she would get a hefty child support check. Hey, guess what, Dennis? You're the father. So that's what Portia's about. So, and I think she didn't want to let that be known. So now she's saying, she's a woman. She was single, but you weren't single at the time you screwed Bolo. You were still dealing with Dennis. And I'm sure once he found out what you did, now you're single. And now, like you said, you're not getting those Chanel bags anymore, because, Dennis is not going to waste his money on you. He's going to go ahead and do what he really wanted to do, what he was doing all the time. And now he can really do it, which is see other women. So, then Andy asked another, so-called viewers question, asked, well, Candy, can't you control Kenya? Couldn't you shut her down? And like Candy said, nobody can shut Kenya down. But Kenya said, yes, I do listen to Candy. I do respect her opinion. But she was like a dog with a bone on this. And I don't blame her, because like she said, had the shoe been on the other foot and she had sex with Bolo, everybody would have been talking about it. Everybody would have been dragging her through the mud and, for it. So... yeah, so Kenya turned into the Bolo detective. So, and like Kenya said, why should it be expected of her to, do the girl code thing when when Portia's not her friend, Drew's not her friend, Tanya's not her friend? Yeah. And of course, if her friends had did that, she said, first of all, like I just said, they would have talked about it. They'd have been like, girl, was that you last night? What were you doing? And then the friend would tell you, girl, well, I got a little drunk. Things went a little bit too far. But hey, don't tell nobody. Keep it on the low. Yeah, you didn't. Yeah, for your girlfriend, yeah, your mom's the word. But Portia, no, I'm telling it all. Because, she's told stuff on Kenya that wasn't even done on the show. And lied on Kenya. And just, so then, Portia wants to be so important to everybody. Portia, you're nobody. Once you're off this show, unlike Nene, I think people would forget about you, because, there's no depth to you. That's why your whole Black Lives Matter moment really wasn't that big. Nobody sees that for you. They see you as the fun time girl. That's it. So Kenya is not obsessed with you. I think you're obsessed with her. And she's talking about, she is exploring her sexuality. No, you weren't. You were having a good time and you didn't want it to come out. So they talk once again about, and that's another thing with the whole slut shaming thing. It's okay for Portia to slut shame Kenya, and call Kenya a whore for years. Talk about her going with a one-eyed African man that possibly was married, all of which Kenya denied. And then I didn't even know that she accused Kenya of being a prostitute twice. And when Kenya brought that up, Portia doubled down on it. It's like, yeah, I read that in an article about you. Yeah. Once again, she's lying. And it's dangerous lies. It's really dangerous lies at this point. So they bring up about, the rape and drug allegations against Kandi. Kandi was trying to explain that when a person lies like that, she brought up a scenario like with Drew, and Drew kissed Portia. And then, if there really wasn't any cameras or audio, and then 2 years later, she blurts out that, well, Toya, you're an undercover lesbian, not owning up to the fact that she participated in kissing her. So does that make her an undercover lesbian? So, of course, Portia's like, why are you still bringing that up? I meant, I said sorry. I made amends. No, you didn't. You did not. And really, you can never really apologize enough for what you did to Kandi, because every time something comes up like that, people throw Kandi's name in it. The whole thing now with T.I. and Tiny, everybody's thinking, well, maybe Portia was right. Or could it be that Phaedra was really telling on T.I. and Tiny, but threw Kandi into it? I don't think Kandi is that dumb. I think Kandi would have the NDAs, which is, making people, it's a non-disclosure agreement. You agree to not talk about whatever goes on that night. So I'm sure Todd and Kandi have their paperwork in hand if called upon. So allegedly. And that's another thing. I was talking about Drew's baby daddy, and I said that, the case, the criminal case against him, I should have said allegedly with all that, because even though it was in the news about his arrest and what happened, I really don't know. I wasn't in the courtroom, so I can't, say for a fact that it's exactly like that. But he was arrested. He did do time for smuggling drugs, allegedly. So going back to last night, we get to Andy wants to know who leaked it to the gossip pages, who leaked it to Page 6. I don't know why everybody thinks, I'm not a Kenya fan, okay? But they seem to she's the whipping boy on this cast. And once again, even LaToya is blaming Kenya for leaking it to Page 6. And Kenya once again says she can't stand Page 6 because of how they wrote about her. So she would never give them a scoop. But maybe if it was B. Scott or TMZ, if they had called, yeah, maybe she would have done it. But she swears, she says up and down that she didn't do it. But nobody believes her, as usual. Even Cynthia throws her under the bus. It's like, I would not want Cynthia to be my friend. I would be so pissed with Cynthia. Like, girl, you're just an acquaintance, somebody I know. Then they talk about Kenya and Marlo making up. So Andy asked Kenya, do she trust Marlo? And Kenya stupidly answered that she does trust Marlo. Marlo is a straight shooter. She's gonna tell it to you, to your face. Kenya, why? What is wrong with you? It's crazy. And of course, Marlo told the truth. She was like, no, she don't trust a Kenya, And, she's going to always be basically side-eyeing Kenya. She said, after the filming ended, she hasn't seen Kenya. But like Kenya pointed out, she did invite her to her house, but Marlo didn't come. So Kenya, I don't even know why you said that you trust Marlo. Girl, I hope you don't, because then you're really stupid. Then in the background, Portia's saying a whole bunch of ignorant stuff, per usual. And Marlo shuts her right down, telling her that she needs to get her teeth fixed. She needs to fix them big horse teeth. And she shut Portia down. Portia didn't have nothing to say after that. So then Andy asked everyone, has anybody heard from Tanya? So Portia lies and talk about, yeah, we're still friends and I'm loyal to Tanya, blah, blah, blah. Portia is loyal only to herself. If she was truly loyal to Portia and they got wind that Kenya was, trying to figure out what was going on in the room with Bolo, and she knows her friend is, has a life partnership with this guy who's worth, I heard or read, over $100 million. She should have just taken the fall and just said, girl, don't worry about it. I'll just say, I did everything. You had left the room. You weren't doing, even though we could see from the audio, we could hear from the audio, Shamia was calling out everybody that was in the room and everybody that was doing something with Bolo. So, who Bolo said, this is Bolo after dark. Yeah, right. And, so Portia didn't take the fall. She wouldn't even own up to what she did. But she's supposed to be loyal to Tanya? Nah, Tanya did right by leaving and getting away so she won't mess up the real money, which is over $100 million. Even though I don't know how you could be engaged to someone like that for all those years. And if you wanted to have children, because Tanya's in her 40s, it's, clock's ticking. I mean, it's probably like a 5-alarm fire right now, but if she didn't, harvest her eggs. So, but anyway, so Tanya, fled to Canada. Nobody's seen or heard from her except, Portia Lioness, who I think they just supposedly talked on Twitter or Instagram, but that's probably a lie, knowing Portia. And then, Andy questions Kandi as to why did she tell Marlo what happened in the room. Well, Candy's like, well, at that time, I thought they were still friends. So she didn't think it was no harm telling Portia's friend, that, girl, this is what happened. Yeah, you did hear right. Because Marlo was down there and she was hearing what was going on. And then Marlo really just, threw Portia in it by saying, she busted to my room, into the bathroom, and started washing her vajayjay. I don't know if it was before or after, but she was getting it clean. And, so Marlo pretty much knew. So if Portia was comfortable enough to go into Marlo's room, into the bathroom to, clean her vajayjay, then, why couldn't she just answer Marlo's questions like, girl, it went too far, but please don't say nothing. Please don't let Kenya know, that what we did. So that's the only reason why Kandi told everything to Marlo, because she thought that they were still friends. But of course, we all saw that once Kenya and Marlo made up and came down as like a united front, Portia was pissed. Miss Black Lives Matter activist that wants, justice for Black victims of police violence, doesn't want grown-ass Black women to get together and to make up to one another, to atone to one another and be at peace. No, that's, it's okay for Black on Black violence, just not police on Black people violence. So, then, let's see, then Drew has to insert herself into everything, and I can't stand when people name drop. Well, Andy brings it up that Bolo told Drew that he had met her through LeBron James. So everybody's like, oh, LeBron James. And she's like, oh, yeah, I was friends, I was moving in those circles, but I knew LeBron before he went to college or something like that. So, Drew is letting everybody know she's that girl. She knows LeBron James. I know LeBron James is sitting at home like, what? Anyway, that girl just lies about so much stuff. So then they move to Drew and LaToya's issue with Prophet Lot. I feel so sorry for that man. This woman has dragged Prophet Lot through the mud. I mean, and he's supposed to be a friend of the family. Yeah, if that's your friend, I would hate to see your enemy. I mean, because with friends like that, who needs an enemy? So she's just, so anyway, Drew does something I really hate. She does a fake phony prayer, which I'm glad Kenya and Marlo had the strength not to participate in that mess. But Cynthia, mealy mouth behind, and Toya, who's just trying to find a spot because she's following Andy's lead. She's trying to really play up to Andy. Of course, we know Faisha is going to do it, and her lapdog Shamila is going to do the prayer, and they're all full of evil, all of them. So they do a prayer. I didn't even listen to it. And then Drew just throws Prophet Lot under the bus. LaToya is saying nothing happened between me and the prophet. It was just spiritual. He was just counseling her spiritually. That's it. Why does, LaToya have to be a liar? So Kenya was like, well, now, you were all on me about investigating what happened between Portia and Bola, and you're doing the same thing to LaToya and the prophet Lot. You're doing the same thing. And so, of course, Drew was like, oh, no, it's different. I wasn't, I had to know my situation is different because I asked him to do my baby's blessing, and this is going to look bad for my baby's blessing. How? And, how? Like, Houseway, how? Like, no, it's not. And if you really wanted your baby to have a blessing, your mother is a minister. Why not let your mother do it? Why was it so important for Prophet Lot? And then you just put all this man's business out there, and then even said that he's been into some other dealings that was fake or something that might have been nefarious. If I was that man, I would sue you for defamation of character. Because, this man, if he's trying to build a following or church, you're pretty much destroying him. And even Kenya was like, you're just, like maligning this man. And this man is not a part of the show. He just came on probably as a favor to you and LaToya, but now you pretty much said this man is a fake and a womanizer. So, and like they were saying, Drew's grown, she's grown-ass woman. She was separated from her husband. They're now divorced. She had a very public divorce. So they were both free to do whatever they wanted to do because the prophet was single, but they both said nothing happened. And yeah, he said he liked her. What red-blooded male wouldn't like LaToya? LaToya is a very beautiful woman. Yeah, he probably was attracted to her, and he was honest about that. But did he make a move on that? No, because of what she was going through with her then husband, now ex-husband. That's respectable, but Drew wants to make it a problem. Then she said after that, all the prophets declined doing her baby blessing. Well, it's not because of what happened between LaToya and the prophet. It's because of how you handled the situation. They probably like, you're not going to mess up my money. You're not going to have me on Real Housewives of Atlanta looking stupid. So they showed the video. They played the tape. Nothing the prophet said was horrible. He said he liked LaToya and that she seemed like a great person. Okay. And so like Andy said, like, look, if you're going to come on this show, you got to have your receipts. So she was saying how she couldn't play the tape because of legal, some of the stuff because of legal reasons. And like Candy or someone pointed out, no, you just didn't have it queued up to the right spot using a doggone cassette tape. It's like, who still has cassette tapes? Who still has a boombox? As much old stuff as I have, at least I don't have that. It's like, oh my God. And then the other girls should be worried that Drew is willing to record you. Remember, they got rid of the girl, I think her name was Lana, or what was she had the tattooed dime piece on her thigh that they all cracked about. And, that she had came on with Nene and the whole snake gate. and she was recording people. So after that, they didn't bring her back because didn't nobody want to record with her, tape with her because, or film, I should say, nobody wanted to film with her because there's a good possibility that she's going to record you. Who wants to do that? Now you got to watch everything you say for real. So yeah, I don't really see it for Drew. If they do bring her back, I know if I was Kenya, I wouldn't film with her. And if I did film with her, I'd just be sitting there like, mom's the word. I would just let her talk and just, collect my Bravo check. Seriously. Because she's dangerous. That girl lies with a straight face. Woo, and she's evil. And she really has a hatred for Kenya that is unwarranted. It's like, I feel sorry for Kenya. It's just horrible. To be on a show where she really doesn't have any friends. I wish they would bring back Claudia or or Eva, because Drew is a pathological liar and she's clinical. So let's see, and then they bring up the stupid gift. It's not even worth it. Drew shouldn't have gotten anything because she's like, it was a gag, but it couldn't be a gag because where was the real gift? Like even Portia brought that up. It's like, okay, yeah, okay, but where's the real gift? You didn't have one. You're broke. Like Kenya said, broke bitches split checks. That's a no-no. Even I don't do that. And I'm pretty frugal with my money. But hey, if we're going out, I get the check this time, next time you get the check or whatever. That's how you do it. I hate that splitting of the checks. I really do. I've been out with people that do that. It's embarrassing and I hate it. So she didn't have no money. Plus, she's not going to admit that, hey, why should I spend $1,000? I'm probably only getting $1,000 an episode. My husband and I really need this money because I haven't been acting in a while. So, and why am I going to spend $1,000 on these chicks that I don't like? But you signed up for this. The thing was, the Secret Santa was $1,000. This is not Love and Hip Hop. This is not some cheap reality show. This is Real Housewives of Atlanta. These women are supposed to be upper middle class to rich. $1,000 shouldn't have been a problem. You just make that investment. And you may lose it, Drew. So what you should have done is said, yeah, I made $1,000 donation to the, Anti-Cruelty Society and I put it in your name. But instead you did a $100 donation. I hope they don't bring back Drew, but from what I understand, they're going to bring her back probably because of all her vicious attacks on Kenya. And Kenya, you got to get your reading game up. You got to do some studying. You got to get rid of Mark, but I see you haven't. But because on Mother's Day, her and Mark spent it together with the baby. He seemed like he's acting a little bit better because he actually waved to the camera. So, I don't know, but I would still divorce his ass and we could just have a civil relationship for the baby. But that man is crazy, but he appears to be crazy. I mean, because it's like you take up with a woman whose job it is to be on TV to show, quote unquote, her life. That's how she makes her money. Kenya gets paid $1.5 million. From what I understand, allegedly, she's the highest paid housewife right now. Why would you want to mess up that check? $1.5 million. Oh, well. And so Drew and Toya made up. Who cares? Toya's just trying to do anything to stay on the show. Her life has imploded. I think Toya, once again, I should do like a strategy thing for housewives. Toya, you would have done better to just be single. To let them film the aftermath of your divorce from your husband and really get with your ex-husband and say, hey, look, don't mess up this opportunity for me. He's being a jerk right now, but I think part of him being a jerk is that you bring in another man with a questionable background around his children. Meaning, this was a man that ran around with Jeffree Star, who is a racist, transgender makeup artist. But for some reason, he loves, allegedly racist, that's what the word is. He loves getting black men, but really disparaging black women. So her ex-husband is concerned about that. I think had you not got up with that guy and really just focused on being single for a minute, being a single mom, getting your girls together, your children together, maybe you could convince your ex-husband to allow you to film with your children, which is like crazy because they film with the children on their YouTube channel, but he's not letting her do it. So that's horrible because I know she wanted to be on TV. This is her dream. She made it to TV and her ex-husband is messing it up. Let's see. So Andy, I'm sorry, this is going kind of long, but I'm getting there. Andy brings up, can Portia and Kenya ever be friends again? They never were friends. They did not get along from day one. And once again, it was not Kenya's fault. It was Portia's fault with her nasty mouth. When she told Kenya, okay, she invites Kenya to a charity event and, kind of has Kenya like an honored guest. And she on purpose called Kenya Miss America and then got upset when Kenya told her no, Miss USA. And why? You messed up her title. That's it. There's nothing humble about this girl. Portia, I don't know why she's a fan favorite. But anyway, so Kenya did the right thing, waited till it was a good time for her to kind of leave, just bow out gracefully exit, not cause any problems, just leave. Portia chases after her. Like, why are you leaving? Like, okay, well, you could stand at the curb where you belong. Like, what? And that's exactly what Kenya did. Like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? First of all, you didn't pay her to show up at the event. She came, just to support you. Then you couldn't even get her title right, and she's supposed to be like a guest of honor. And then when you get corrected, you have an attitude. So, and everybody's being nasty like black people can be. We always like to hate on one another. So Kenya leaves. I would have left. Like, okay, the atmosphere is not great here. Let me just leave and not cause a scene. The scene got created by Portia chasing after her and cursing her out on the side of the street. So yeah, they were never friends. And, but then, years later, Kenya did, after, she had the baby and everything, even when she was off the show, they made up. And they shared their pregnancy. It was like Kenya, Portia, and Shamila was all pregnant at the same time, or in and out of pregnancies, whatever. And they bonded. And, Kenya, from her heart, when she got back on the show, was like, hey, let's let bygones be bygones. I'll stop attacking you. You stop attacking me, blah, blah, blah. So we thought it was all good. They were hanging out, babies, with each other. Babies had play dates. And then Portia decides the next season, you know what? I'm not going to be friends with Kenya. And it's not because of anything Kenya did. It's because, according to Portia, she went after Tanya and, with that whole over the wig gate thing and the cookie lady thing, where Kenya brought on the cookie lady who allegedly Tanya's life partner hit on the cookie lady. And he probably did, because the cookie lady was pretty. He probably did flirt with her. Men do that. So what? But Portia tried to use that as a wedge to see that, oh, I don't like the way she treat other people. I have been in the same position as Kenya with a friend, so-called friend, who always brought up about how other people didn't like me, and she always thought that I did something to someone. I'm like, no, I didn't do anything to them. But the main thing is, how did I treat you? You know, they can never point out to anything that I did to them, but they could always point out, well, you treated so and so, you know. So that's what Kenya's going through, because Portia just cannot admit that she does not want to be friends with Kenya at all. But she still wants to be on Real Housewives of Atlanta. She still wants to be the goody two shoe girls with Andy, and you know, but she can't fake it. She can't fake being friends with Kenya. And like somebody brought up in the blogs, you know, it's because Kenya's baby is prettier than Pilar. And so, you know, they would always be probably comparing the babies. And then Kenya's gorgeous and Brooklyn is gorgeous. And they got all that naturally long, pretty hair. And Kenya and and Portia and her baby can't grow no hair. So I tend to agree with that. You know, Portia is very strategic. So I know she did not want to be filming no play dates with Pilar, with PJ up against, with Pilar up against Brooklyn. She did not want to do that. And I tend to believe that. Although I think Pilar is cute as a button, Dennis with a bow on it, but Brooklyn is gorgeous. It is what it is. She has two gorgeous parents. She came out gorgeous. Then, and then I love when, you know, Portia, when she was trying to explain why she wasn't friends, she also brought up the event where, you know, Marlo's event where, you know, Marlo was trying to have a hairline, you know, a wig line. And then Kenya came in there doing that Kenya Moore hair care. And, you know, but then Bravo, I'm glad they found this clip, show Portia on the ground laughing like a hyena, but Marlo's your girlfriend. Yeah, Marlo was like, yeah, right, don't use her. So, you know, once again, it showed Portia lying. Just, you say you're a grown-ass woman. You say you're, you know, own the fact that you're bisexual. You know, stop doing your lesbianism on the weekends at night. Just own it. Just own that the fact you like the girls and the boys. It's a free country. It is what it is. And that you do not like Kenya no matter what. So then Drew once again tries to insert herself and says to Kenya, oh, you never been nice to me. It was like, Drew, shut up. Just shut up. Go away. And then Marlo tries to get a word in. She was hushed by, she was actually cut off by Portia. Like, Portia was running the show like Mimi. I'm like, oh my God. So Andy goes with it and lets stupid Shamila say something stupid about how she's not a lapdog, but she is. She's so far up Portia's butt, you know, she can't see straight. So then Marlo, who will not be silenced, kept trying to get a word in edgewise. Portia has a Karen moment. She starts talking about how she's afraid of Marlo. Miss Portia, who has physically attacked 3 women, brings up the fact that Marlo has needs to go back to jail. That's what she said. And she told Marlo, and I quote, to go back to jail. She said she felt threatened and that Marlo was an effing, or just let me say it, a fucking felon. I'm like, oh my God. Everybody's like, oh my God. Nobody has thrown out Marlo's past in the 10 years that Marlo has been doing that show. Even though I wanted them to, you know, especially Kenya, when Marlo was on the warpath against Kenya and taking all types of low blows. So I really don't feel sorry for Marlo, because when Marlo told Kenya, even your own mother didn't want you, because Kenya's mother gave her up as an infant. You know, I'm like, yeah, do it, Portia. Let her know, you know, that she is a felon. I don't feel sorry for Marlo at all, because Marlo plays dirty. So, but what I want everybody to see is that Portia played like she was a Karen, Miss Black Lives Matter activist who's out there protesting against the police for killing unarmed black people, even if they have a criminal record. We're not supposed to look at the fact that George Floyd was, was convicted of armed robbery and served time, allegedly. We were supposed to overlook that and say it wasn't right for him to get the life choked out of him over a fake $20 bill. But Marlo, you're afraid of Marlo. You said you were going to need security after they stopped filming. Marlo has never threatened you, has never done anything to you, has never been violent to you. But you literally have been violent to women on the show 3 different times and still kept your job. You have threatened Kenya on multiple occasions after that. You thought you might want to go up against Candy, but Candy told you where to go and just how to get there. And, but this is everybody's fan favorite. She turned into a scared white woman. We finally finished. I hope you enjoyed this review. I do enjoy reviewing these shows. If you have stopped by and listened, please hit the like button if you liked it. Hit the thumbs down button. I don't care. Let me know that you're out there and that you appreciate the time that I'm taking to review these reviews. Also, leave a comment. Let me know what you think, good or bad. And please subscribe. Help a sister out. And until next time, everybody take care. Protect yourself. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. See ya. Peace.